When the Trump administration claimed credit this week for budget cuts at the United Nations, some critics of the organization saw the prudent oversight of taxpayer money, while others questioned Washington's determination to be seen wielding a big stick. The U.S. mission to the United Nations on Sunday hailed the operating budget of $5.396 billion for 2018 and 2019, slightly less than the $5.4 billion requested by Secretary General Antonio Guterres. In a statement, the mission said the United States had negotiated $285 million in cost savings as well as reducing bloated management and support functions. We will no longer let the generosity of the American people be taken advantage of or remain unchecked, said the U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley, calling the cost-cutting historic and promising more to come. Using a calculation based on the size of its economy, the United States pays 22% of the UN's operating budget, and 28% of its peacekeeping operations. That makes it the largest contributor among member nations, followed by Japan, China, Germany, France, and Britain. The Trump administration has been highly critical of spending at the United Nations, but it is not alone in its concern about costs. Guterres, who took office shortly before President Trump, has vowed to bring efficiencies and reform to the bureaucracy. "This is all so misleading," tweeted Bathsheba Crocker, who under President Obama headed the State Department office responsible for international organizations such as the UN. The U.S. fights hard, together with other countries, every year to cut UN budget and regularly does. This is neither new nor a U.S. decision. Negotiations over the UN budget were months in the making. A U.S. official said U.S. pressure helped bring about cuts to peacekeeping missions in Darfur and Haiti, freeing money to create a new special envoy for Burma to focus on returning the Rohingya people to their homes. It also involved a number of more esoteric reforms such as a flexible workplace initiative and pension fund oversight to increase accountability. These cuts are positive news for the U.S.-UN relationship, said Peter Yeo, head of advocacy for the United Nations Foundation, which supports UN causes, noting they were not imposed unilaterally but in negotiations with member states. The cuts demonstrate that the UN is capable of tightening its belt to reflect budget constraints in donor capitals, including the U.S., he added. Ambassador Haley has formed a real partnership for reform with the Secretary General. The budget was finalized Sunday, days after Haley and Trump suggested that the United States would link U.S. aid to countries that supported them in significant votes. That rankled several countries that did not side with the United States in a 128-9 vote condemning Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. This reflects a bias in the administration that we see elsewhere in its foreign policy, said John Glazer, Director of Foreign Policy at the Libertarian Cato Institute. Namely, that the way to elicit compliance from both adversaries and allies is to browbeat them, threaten them, and economically coerce them.